Hello everybody, Mike here. Welcome to the channel and welcome to a new video in Maya. I think some people call it Maya, I'm not sure, but anyway, I call it Maya. So, we're going to do a couple of cool things today in this video. I'm going to show you how to make a weave, not pattern, make a weave model. So we're going to do some actual weave, not a texture. And I'm going to show some other patterns that you can use in a really cool way for body armor, for tool grips, weapon covers, all sorts of stuff, baskets, whatever, yeah? So I'm going to show you three methods. And whether they're technically called a weave or not, one of them is, the other two maybe not so much, right? But anyway, here we go. So let's start with a traditional weave. We're going to take a simple polygon cylinder and we're going to push that up, make it nice and thin, scale it down a little bit. Let's hit W, move that up so it's sitting on the grid, kind of like so. Control D to duplicate, W to move that over to somewhere around here, and then Shift to D, Shift to D, Shift D. So we've got 5 of those. Next, we're going to take a polygon plane, we're going to hit E to rotate, hold down J, flip it up like this, Control A to open up the attribute editor, go in here, subdivision level 1 by 1, that's it. All right. We're going to go in there, we're going to hit R to scale that down, make it a nice thin ribbon, push that up like so. Then we're going to right click at our vertex, drag select, pull it to somewhere around there. And then what we're going to do is hit 4 for wireframe mode, insert edge loop, let's put it to manual. And then we're going to drag one, in front of each vertical, let's call it pole, or you know what I mean? Yep. We'll put them in there. And there you go. And then one more. And there you go. All right. So now that we have that, Q on the keyboard. What we're going to do is we're going to move the verts. So we're going to right click at a vertex, we're going to drag select those, and those. Not those, right. So the first 3. So those, and those, yeah. We're going to hit a W, we're going to move them like this. And once we're going to smooth them, they're going to come back in a little bit. So we need to make sure we have enough space. And then we're going to select these and these. And let's move them in here. Now we have a fairly straight shot between each pole there. So what we'll do is go to insert edge loop. Let's do multiple in one. And if you do that, it will put it smack in the middle. So one there, one there, one there, one there. That helps with the bend a little bit, right? Cool. Now, we don't want to have the ends be rounded once we actually smooth it. So let's go back into insert edge loop. Let's go to manual. And we'll put one at the end there. We'll put one up here. And one down there. And then, of course, we want one at the end here. And that one needs to go over there. Okay, cool. So now that we have that, let's do a quick preview smooth. So 5 for shaded, 3, and have a look. Now you can see that in some areas it's touching, and it's actually these areas right here. So that one, let's go to object mode in this guy, right click on the vertex, these vertices, I'll hit 4 so you can see them, and these vertices. So we're going to hit W, and we're going to push them back somewhat. Okay, Q on the keyboard, 5 for shaded mode, and now it's all good. All right, now what we're going to do is we're going to go to extrude. So hit 1 to go back to our original unsmooth mode, or unpreview smooth mode, yeah. We're going to extrude, we're going to do 0.1, that's a bit much, 0.05, 0.025, that's better. Okay, and then we're going to go in and we're going to go to mesh, edit mesh, to mesh and smooth, Let's see where I'm at. Let's do 2 and hit smooth. All right. So now that we have that, we have our first ribbon, right? Now we need to have one that alternates. And if I'm not mistaken, I can take this guy, Control D to duplicate, E to rotate, hold down J, flip it around like so. All right, lift it up so they're not touching, at least not too clearly, like so. Yeah, cool. And then you drag select both, you hit Control D to duplicate. Let's jump in here, F to frame, you push them up. Oh, that's interesting. That's new. Never saw that before. Why is that? Okay, hang on. We'll do it this way. Let's go to mesh and combine, edit, delete by type, history. Now we're going to Control D to duplicate. We're going to move that up to about there. And then we're going to Shift D all the way up. So if you want this to be some kind of fence or something, right? There you have it. Now, again, this is quite high in the poly count, but sometimes you want the real deal. Right, so that's object number 1. Let's go to mesh and combine. Let's go to edit, delete by type, history. Let's go to modify and freeze transformations. And then we're going to move this over here, and we're going to hit Control H to hide it for now. Alrighty, next one. We're going to take a polygon plane. F to frame, E to rotate, hold and J, flip it up like so. Control A to open up the attribute editor. Let's do 2, maybe 2 by 3. Let's have a look. Yeah, 2 by 3 is fine. All right, now that's our starting point. I'm going to right click, go to face. I'm going to drag select these, and I'm going to go to edit mesh and detach. Then I'm going to go to object mode, mesh and separate. So now I have 2 pieces. Hit W, move it over. Now I want these 2 to be connected. So let's move this over a little bit more. I'm going to select both again, mesh and combine. Then my pivot point's in the middle, so I can hit W to move it and hold on X, and boom, there you go. Smack in the middle. Now I'm going to right click, go to edge, select this one, and go to edit mesh, bridge, option box, edit and reset. Then I'm going to choose smooth path, and we're going to do 5 subdivisions and hit bridge. Now that green color, don't worry about it, that's a Maya thing. What happens here is it loses its connection to the Lambert material. It's an easy fix. You just go in here to object, right click, assign new material, Lambert, and it's fixed. Yeah, all right. So now that we have that, we're going to take this middle section right here. So this, and we're going to hit a B for soft select, but we don't want it to be too big because I'm going to move this and I don't want everything to move. So make sure there are no red lines outside of this curved section, right? I'm going to hit W. I'm going to move this back a little bit, like so. That should be fine. And then, and this is kind of tricky, we're going to do this one to that one. It's not tricky per se, but once we start to move this, you'll see. Hit a B to turn off soft select, right click, go to edge, 1, and then shift select 2, edit mesh and the bridge. Settings are still the same. Great. Okay. Problem is though, now if I want to move this, with B, it will move everything. So I have to select the whole thing, go to mesh and edit mesh and detach, and then go to object mode and go to mesh and separate. Now I can do that, right? So right click, go to face, 1 and 2, hit a B for soft select, which is still in the same range. Hit W, move that, and let's jump to the top and see if that's a about the same distance. It looks like it is. Yeah, good. And now we have to put Humpty Dumpty back together again, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to go and make sure that we didn't move anything here. We did not. Drag select the whole thing. Go to mesh and combine. We need to connect those vertices again. So go to vertex, drag select everything. We're going to go to edit mesh and merge. So now if I hit 3 for soft select, we shouldn't see anything funky, and we don't, which is good. All right. Now we're going to want to go back. I want to get rid of those curves, so I need to delete the history, and they're in here somewhere. Yeah. So we're going to delete the whole thing, edit, delete by type history, and now I can go in and take those curves and delete them without messing up my model, right? Okay. Now, before we go into extrude and all that kind of stuff, I want to tweak it a little bit. I think these edges are too thick, so I'm going to go to vertex, drag select, and shift drag select. Hit R, push them in like so, and maybe I want the whole thing to be a bit thinner like that, right? Now, it's time to make a pattern. So we need to move that pivot point again. So we're going to hit the insert key. I'm going to hold down V and move it over there and move it down to that corner like so. Hit the insert key again, and then from here we're going to hit Control D to duplicate, W to move, and we're going to hold down V for snapping, and that's number 1. And then we're going to hit Shift D, Shift D, Shift D, and then we're going to do the same thing but working upwards. So select the whole thing, Control D to duplicate, W to move up, hold down V, that's 1, Shift D, and that's enough, right? So now that we have all this, we are going to go into vertex mode. Let's go to object mode first and go to edit, delete by type history. Let's go to mesh and combine, and then we're going to go to let's go and do a preview smooth. Let's see if that works fine. Looks like it is. Yeah, we need to merge those vertices. So vertex, all of them, edit mesh and merge, and now we should be able to extrude this and smooth this without having an issue, right? Let's close the outliner. We're going to go to extrude. Let's do 0.02. Let's make sure it's not touching anywhere. It looks to be fine. Okay, let's do that. And then we're going to smooth it. So object mode, we're going to go to mesh, edit mesh, and I do this a million times, and every time I'm looking for it, smooth. Okay, 2, that should be fine. All right, so with ambient occlusion on, which is this guy, where is it? Ambient occlusion, yeah. You can clearly see that effect, which is kind of neat, right? So we're going to go to display, and then we're going to go to show all. So that's pattern number 2. We're going to move that over here. And yeah, you can scale it up a little bit, just so it looks a little bit more fancy, right? And then finally, what I want to show you is how to kind of make a twist, if you will, right? How does that work? Well, I'll show you. We'll take a polygon cube. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. Take a polygon cube. We're going to open up the attribute editor. We're going to go in here and let's set subdivision level to 6 by 6 by 6. Let's see if that's going to work for me or not. Let's see, 1, 2, 3. No, that's not going to work for me. Let's go back. I want it to be 5 by 5 by 5. That should be better. And is it better? Yes, it is. Okay, cool. All right, so now that I have that, I'm going to hit Control D to duplicate, W to move over, hold down J, and flip it over somewhere here. Now, what I want to do is I want to kind of make a funky pattern between these two, right? So I'm going to go to face, and I'm going to select 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the one in the middle, right? And I want to delete all of those. And then I'm going to go over here, and actually it's easier to just copy this guy over instead of doing it twice. Control D to duplicate, W to move over. I'm just making this up as I go along, guys. So, all right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this a little bit further. Select them both. Let's go to Mesh and Combine. Edit, delete by type, history. There you go. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to connect to these guys using the bridge method. So I'm going to go to Edge, double click on this guy, Shift, double click on this guy, go to Edit Mesh and Bridge, option box. I do want some subdivision. I want a linear path, but I do want subdivision. Let's do 20 and bridge. And again, material connection lost. Don't worry about it. We'll fix that in a second, yeah? So I'm going to do the others. Right, these are all done. Let's fix that material thing. Object mode, assign new material, Lambert, there you go. And what we're going to do next is we are going to twist this guy. So we're going to go to deform, we're going to go to nonlinear, and we're going to go to twist, option box. We'll first create it, and then we'll see what we need to do. I need to move that handle or rotate it. So hit E, hold on J, and now it's right there. And now if I open up the attribute editor and I change the start angle, it's going to start to twist, right? Now, I don't want that to be too extreme. I do want it to be in a way that the two sections are facing each other equally. So let's do minus 90 degrees. So the footprint of that one is equal to the footprint of that one, right? Now that that looks pretty cool. So we're going to select it. We're going to go to Edit, Delete by Type History, which will allow me to move those curves or get rid of them. And let's see if they're still in there somewhere. They probably are. Let me have a look. Hit W. Oh, they're not. Cool. Okay. And then what we're going to do is we're going to hit 5 to go back. We're going to put in a couple of edge loops to hold that shape. And then we are going to smooth it, right? So insert edge loop. Let's do manual, which is great. We're going to put one in here at the end, one in here at the end. Let's put one in here and one in here. Q on the keyboard. Let's do a preview smooth. Let's hit 3. And look at something looking like this, right? Pretty sweet. Well, I want a few more edge loops. So insert edge loop. Let's go in here and put a few on the corners. So one there, and then we'll do one there and one there. Okay. Q on the keyboard, option box. Let's put it upright. E to rotate, hold on J, flip it up like so, put it on the floor. That looks pretty funky. And W, raise that up. Am I working upside down right now? Yeah, it looks like. All right, that's fine. Actually, let's look at my cube here. Yeah, well, it doesn't matter. Anyway, you get the idea. Let's turn this guy off here. So we need to smooth this guy officially, right? So we're going to go to mesh and smooth. And if you want these inner sections to look somewhat square as well, you can add edges there, but I don't want to. I want the outer ones to look a bit more square and the inner ones to look a bit more rounded. So there you go. That's a quite high subdivision, but nevertheless, that's what it looks like, right? So yeah, just a couple of technique, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Have some fun with this. There are tons of things you can do with this. You can take these guys and you can bend them and use them for all sorts of things, for armor, for wrist armor, shoulder armor, patterns for tools, all that kind of stuff, right? So yeah, have fun. If you enjoyed the video, please hit that like button, subscribe if you didn't do that just yet. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Well, thanks for watching, and before you go, please hit that MH button to subscribe, okay? See you guys next time. Bye.